House of the Dragon won't leave us disappointed. George R.R. Martin has confirmed it, having watched a rough cut of the first episode. And it's just how he likes it. Dark, visceral, and epic. There's political intrigue, incest, and loads of dragon warfare. So today, let's take a look at why House of Dragon will give us the epic showdown Game of Thrones never did. The greatest civil war in Westeros. Game of Thrones was known for subversive plot twists and grand action sequences, but everybody hated Season 8 because, well, D&D left a lot to be desired by the fans. But there's no denying it was television on a scale that we had never seen before. At the time, it was one of the most expensive TV shows ever made, with each episode of Season 8 costing a mind-boggling $15 million. With that kind of money, the production team left no stone unturned in making each battle more epic than the ones before. We bet that half the budget went into making those dragons as large and as gorgeously terrifying as they were. But with House of the Dragon, we'll get even more. And we mean more dragons and more carnage. One of the core plot lines in the prequel will revolve around the Dance of the Dragons, a major civil war between the Targaryens. The all-powerful dynasty was divided into two basic halves, the Blacks and the Greens. Keep this detail in mind for later. Now, what can we expect from the Dance of the Dragons, you ask? Gorgeously rendered, epic aerial warfare. Two or more dragons going head-to-head in a fight so visually stunning that we'll probably be falling off the edge of our seats once August 21st rolls around. And with the Dance of the Dragons a solidified plot point in the sequel, fans already know what's coming next. House Targaryen's eventual decline. During the course of Game of Thrones, we'll learn that House Targaryen was once one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful, dynasties across all of Westeros. Their power was legendary, and it wasn't because of their numbers or their wealth, it was because of their command over the fearsome dragons that ruled the skies. House of the Dragon will begin with House Targaryen at the height of their power, and by the end, we'll be seeing their number dwindle because of the bloody battles of the Civil War. The Dance of Dragons is also a significant event in which many dragons also died, which was the catalyst for their extinction in the original series. The reason why Daenerys' rise as a powerful and formidable political and military entity is because she controlled the only dragons in Westeros who were born after all of them had gone extinct. While we don't see the decline of House Targaryen in the original series or get much information about it apart from a few glimpses here and there, we're going to get a full account of what went down between the Targaryens in the prequel. And we'll also see what led to their fall from grace. But what can we expect the series to look like? And how epic will it be? It'll surpass the best battle that we've seen. Months after Season 6 of Game of Thrones had finished airing, people on Twitter are still talking about one thing, the Battle of the Bastards. While it was mostly us raving about it on Twitter, several others joined in and agreed that it was probably the most intense and visually impressive battle sequence that they'd ever seen. And why shouldn't it be? The epic showdown between Jon Snow and the sadistic Ramsay Bolton for Winterfell had everyone on edge. To this day, it remains one of the highest rated battle sequences in all of television history. The scene took 25 days to shoot and required hours and hours of choreography and training before filming even began. But with the prequel releasing in August, we're betting that the creators of the show are going to top that. And you want to know why? We hope you remember the two sides of the Civil War, because now we dive into some of the epic battles that we'll get to see in House of the Dragon. So, before we begin, let's get some details straight. The Black Council was created by Rhaena Targaryen and included her husband, Prince Daemon Targaryen, and three of her eldest sons, Jacaerys, Lucerys, and Joffrey. The Green Council was led by King Aegon II and included Queen Dowager Alicent Hightower and Ser Otto Hightower. The Battle of the Lakeshore. First, let's talk about the bloodiest land battles in the Dance of the Dragons event. House Lannister of the Westerlands was in support of the Green Council, while House Stark of the North and most disorganized lords of the Riverlands supported the Black Council. When Lord Humphrey Lefford led the Lannister army to the western shore of the God's Eye, they found lords who supported the Black Council waiting for them. Lord Roderick Dustin came with 2,000 Winter Wolves, Lord Forrest Frey brought 200 knights and 600 infantrymen, and Robb Rivers arrived with 300 archers from Raventree Hall. What made matters worse for the Lannister army was the fact that Sir Pate of Longleaf blocked their escape from the south. The result? 2,000 soldiers were killed fighting amongst the lake's reeds, including those who drowned while escaping. The Black Council won the fight, but paid a high price. The soldiers who took part in the battle called it the fish feed because of how many men had drowned in the lake. This battle alone could rival the amount of bloodshed in the Battle of the Bastards, and there's plenty more where that came from. The Battle of the Honeywine. Honeywine could be considered similar to the Battle of the Bastards in a few ways. Lord Ormond Hightower, the head of House Hightower and cousin to Queen Dowager Alicent, was caught between the forces of Lord Thaddeus Rowan and Tom Flowers, the bastard of Bitterbridge. Sir Alan Beesbury, Lord Alan Targaryen, Tarly, and Lord Owen Costane cut off Ormond's exit from behind, trapping him. And just when everything seemed lost, a massive shadow cast them all into darkness. Targaryen, ridden by Prince Daeron Targaryen, appeared from above and laid waste to the Black Army. This is just one of the many battles led by fearsome dragons. The Battle of Butcher's Ball. This would be an intense battle if featured in the prequel. Butcher's Ball was a win for the Black Council, dealing a massive blow to the forces of the Green Council. The Black Council was led by 3 Sayres: Garibald Grey, Pate of Longleaf, and Roderick Dustin, Lord of Barrowtown. They decided on practicing guerrilla warfare for this battle. When Ser Criston led the Green forces toward Blackwater Rush, they were ambushed by the Blacks, who disguised themselves as corpses. Ser Criston came face to face with the 3 Sayres leading the Black Council and refused to surrender. He prepared to fight all 3 of them at once, but was killed by arrows fired by Red Rob Rivers and 2 of his longbowmen. After that, it was a straight-up massacre of the Greens, who tried escaping but were killed in the hundreds. Very brutal. The Battle Above God's Eye. Last but not least, we have the Battle Above God's Eye. It went a little differently than the rest that we've discussed so far because it didn't involve a lot of soldiers. This battle was one-on-one between 2 of the strongest and most feared members of each faction. Prince Aemon Targaryen, riding his dragon Vhagar, butted heads with his uncle, Prince Daemon Targaryen, who was riding Caraxes. During the time of Dance of the Dragons, Vhagar was the biggest and most feared dragon of all, but Daemon was a supremely experienced fighter, and his dragon Caraxes was younger, faster, and more slick. The 2 princes faced off in an epic duel above Harren Hall and the God's Eye. Daemon and Caraxes shot up into the sky, disappearing behind the clouds, and Aemon let his confidence fool him and followed his uncle. Before he knew it, Caraxes came thundering down and locked his jaws on Vhagar's neck. Vhagar responded by ripping open Caraxes' belly, but the riders were already dead. Daemon had driven his sword, Dark Sister, right through his nephew's eye, and all 4 of them fell into God's Eye Lake. Vhagar and Aemon's bodies washed ashore years later, but what's mysterious is that Daemon's body was never found, leading to speculations about his death. But this would be brilliant to watch live action, since the clash between Caraxes and Vhagar is the most famous battle involving dragons from the Dance of the Dragons era. The showrunners could absolutely make this an extended battle between uncle and nephew and give us a spectacle that would rival anything that we've ever seen before, whether on Game of Thrones or in any piece of media. We have our fingers crossed for that. Not only are we excited about the battles that we'll be seeing in House of the Dragon, but we're also positive it'll be groundbreaking, since George R.R. Martin has given it his seal of approval, and also because we already know what's going to happen and how it'll end. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. What do you think of the battles in House of the Dragon? And have we missed out on any other epic battles that you know of? Tell us in the comments below. And as always, hit that like if you liked our video, and hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on more content like this. See you in the next one.